Welcome back to Invest Today, and today we're going to talk about two coins, Sui coin and Bitcoin. Sui coin is going crazy. I'd like to check out what's going on in the charts with you, and of course we'll jump into Bitcoin and we'll see what's going on and where the price is headed. So let's get right into it. All right, we're just going to begin here with Sui coin, and Sui coin is just ripping. You can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1 week candles going higher than the other. So very, very bullish Sui is. Full disclosure, I don't own any, and I don't plan on buying any at this point. Just ripped too high, too quick, and it might do very, very well. So let's just talk about it. So if it blows past $2.18, March 24th high right there, $2.18, right around there. So it has to break over that in order, obviously, to get higher, okay? And once it gets higher, it does have this full-blown red candle of on the inception date. So $4.51, basically call it $4.52 being the money that was obviously put in there and removed from the asset. So basically it's going to be riding up this wall here, and I don't have any stopping points on it or anything. It's just a big candle. So I don't know any resistance and I don't know any supports. So basically the only information I have really is this high we had in March, and it was $2.17, call it $2.18. It needs to break over that in order to get higher. So if we're going to do some technical data and showing prices above, I would just have to do some lines and kind of things like that aren't very realistic, really. I mean, technically, yes, like if it broke like this, you can see this technical line here hits it, this here hits it. So you could see something like this for Sui after it breaks above here. Okay, obviously this is going to be a lot of resistance there. It could even break down, but if it does break higher, okay, it would probably come to this line here, which would be a $3.25, right around that number. Okay, right in the middle of here, $3.25, right around there. So that's probably where it would break if it would hit a top, and then more than likely coming to come back and test that top again to break down into some sort of a bear market in the future. That's my best guess there for Sui. Now, if we check out some of these moving averages, we might get some more readings on what's happening. 1 day chart here, ladies and gentlemen, this is a full-blown breakout. If anybody's asking for a bull market, this is it right here, because you can see above all the moving averages on the 1 day, it is above and it is soaring. So it almost tells me that it needs to come down and level off of that, actually, because that's a parabolic move. So just be careful if you are adding this to your bags or investing in this now, because at this point, I would wait for a pullback personally. There's a lot of FOMO and a lot of price driven right here. There's a lot of hype, I can tell. Okay, because these moving averages are breaking out parabolically and the price is surging ahead of it. So if you see back in history what happens when lines go parabolic, tends to move back to its moving average anyways before it breaks higher. So there's no point really in FOMOing into any of these, because it always consolidates and price usually drops past. Once it goes up like this, it usually like gaps up and then usually gaps down, and history always proves that right. You know what I mean? So you can see one here gap up. It did ultimately gap down. It didn't come back down here. But if you look back in the long history, the gap up to gap down. Okay. So now it's just gapping up again, probably to come to $2.16 where it topped out to basically fill this gap. So just be prepared for that this gap could get filled. So just give you some price predictions where the price could fall. Obviously, it's looking parabolic, so I'm guessing it's going to go over $2 pretty soon, and it would be $2.02 where it would probably sit here, and then it would gap up to that $2.16. If it was going on a downtrend, it would meet $1.78, and you can see here there's a bit of a gap down right there to $1.61 and $1.43, and there's a big gap down right here, which would bring it down to $1.10 if things were very, very bearish. Obviously, not so bearish, and looks like it's breaking out. So that's Sui Coin. All right, we'll just end the video off with the Bitcoin chart here and with a couple of price predictions. Okay, so far it's above the 50 moving average. Okay, that's a key signal to it moving upwards. Below the 50 moving average, obviously a little bearish, a little more bearish. Below the 200 moving average, keep the eyes open because it could fall now further. So it has to move above. Now that we are above the 100 moving average, that could be a little bit of a sign of bullishness right there. But until that, we're quite bearish because we have moved now under the 200 moving average. And once price is under, it likes to stay under and consolidate. So we have that. It could V-shape recover. That would be nice. And if it did, 65,000 would be on the table, and then 68,000 up here, definitely on the table. And then, of course, we need to break 70,000, then to go to 73,000 to that all-time high. Until then, I do think it's coming down a little bit more before it goes higher because we are under that 200 moving average. I do think it might go under that 50 if it happens to. Well, if it happens to go under the 50 moving average, it's definitely coming down to 58,000. That'll be under 60 grand. And then it could dip down to 56,000 right there. That was a support. And the last resort support, which is 52,000 before breaking down right back to here, 49,000, retesting that lower low that we had. Well, it was kind of a higher low, but for this consolidation was a lower low. But as far as the trend line goes for the cycle, that is a higher low, okay? Because you can see right here, just going right through the trend line, bouncing off the trend line and continuing up, much like the 2021 cycle right here. And I still do think that 90,000, 88 to 90,000 is on the table. And I'll just explain why in 2 seconds here before we take off. See that pink bar right there? That's the bottom of the last cycle that we had in the consolidation before it broke to its all-time high, ultimately going into a bear run right there. Okay, we have the exact same setup now in 2024. So ladies and gentlemen, there it is right there. Consolidation, bottom, and I can see it breaking up now to 89,000. Okay, but the golden line there, 73,739, that's the top we have to break. And of course, today we need to break that 200 and hold above that 50. All right, well, thank you for watching. Do appreciate it. See you on the next one.